Well, news just in. The US military claims 60 terrorists have been killed in recent operations they were spearheading. Let's get you some more information from our correspondent, Daniel Ryntjes, coming to us live from Washington, D.C. Daniel, when was this operation conducted?
It was on October the 12th. The US military had previously put out a report just suggesting that there had been a strike, not confirming any numbers, but they say it was carried out in Haradere in Somalia, which is a small urban settlement in the tens of thousands, so it's unclear exactly where in that area it was. But given the numbers, it would be sensible to assume that the US had picked out a target in coordination with the Somali military, where there had been a substantial gathering of al-Shabaab forces. For whatever reason, it's unclear. But this looks to be a major strike with some strategic implications for the region, and it's the largest such strike since the attack of 2017 in August, I think, November of 2017, in which 100 al-Shabaab militants were allegedly killed in that strike. So this looks to be a major military operation that has really been effective in targeting al-Shabaab at a very sensitive time.
And Daniel, the US Army in Somalia, also known as AFRICOM, made this announcement over an hour ago. Did they mention how they were able to determine how many terrorists were killed in this operation?
No, they weren't able to mention that, I think because operationally they want to keep the details fairly vague so that they're not giving al-Shabaab any information which they could then use to target personnel, whether they be US or Somali or members of the African Union. So we don't know exactly what happened, but it's probable that, well, I've been told that by sources in the US military that these were drone strikes. So it's probable that they had very detailed surveillance. They say they were able to assess currently that there were no civilian casualties in this operation. So it suggests that they had fairly detailed imagery, and it's possible also, depending on the strategic position of other al-Shabaab fighters, it may be that Somali forces or others were able to go in there and corroborate some of this information. But they do say approximately 60, so it looks as if, you know, there is still room for error in these assessments. But certainly I think this is clearly a major strike, and I think it just underscores the US military's decision, really strategically, to support the stabilization of this country mainly by military means. In fact, they say that these are strikes that are designed to really stop al-Shabaab from being able to gain a foothold, attack civilian convoys of humanitarian aid, and gain strategic advantage. So I think that we have no indication that there were military operations on the ground. This may well have been just an attack that they made in order to literally strike at some of these al-Shabaab fighters. It may not even have been a defensive attack.
Okay, thank you for that update. That was Daniel Ryntjes for us in Washington, D.C. on the latest strike, the strike by the US military in Somalia on 60, well, they say they've killed 60 terrorist al-Shabaab militants there.